I believe that the fundamental truth principle of accountability software, behind it is the belief that says there is something uniquely bad and wrong about you, and with a behavior and a habit that you cannot control. And because that's the case, you need to be controlled. You need to have external parameters that govern your life, that dictate how you operate, in order for you to trust yourself and for you to stay away from all these bad things. Here's the problem that I see with that.
You like this, you like being daddy's arms with microphones. You like being a worker. You're made for the camera. Both my boys are.
Hey, this video you are about to watch is a part of a series where I show you how to quit porn the right way. So do yourself a favor, binge on all of this content, all the videos that you possibly can, because who knows, maybe if the value and the trust is built together over this journey, you'll want to jump into a community that I call Fit for Family. Or maybe you think these videos suck, and that's also fair too. But nonetheless, there's only one way for us to find out. So enough of me, let's get back to serving you and let's get back to the video.
Okay, let's talk about a very hot topic about quitting porn, and I mean accountability blockers, software. You can think of all the companies in your mind that might come to you when you think about blockers and who it is. I want you to feel a level of empowerment from these ideas here. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I've done. I'll tell you my methodology. I'll tell you what's been most supportive for me and the people that have helped coach in being free from porn. But I want you to feel a permission, because you're smart, because you're powerful, because you know what to do, because you have access to the Holy Spirit and God inside you to make really wise and smart choices. What I want to explain to you is the nature of accountability software, what it should really, really, really be used for if you were to ever use it, and maybe why you should break up with it, save some money, put it back in your pocket. You're welcome for that. And learn that this isn't something that you need anymore. So here's what I want to articulate and understand is there is a lot of marketing, and marketing isn't bad. It just means that there is a company that wants your business. And again, that's not a bad thing. I think that ought to be helpful. But the marketing that most of us use, and I'm not singling out any single company here. That's not my point. My point is just to share and have us get educated together that the whole goal of a business in their marketing is to say, I can fully solve this problem. And if you're convinced of it, you'll give them their money, they'll give you their service, and then you guys shake hands and have a great relationship. Now, when it comes to accountability software, here's what I've seen, is that the belief is that if there's no access to porn, there's no problem. There's no addiction. There's no issue with it. And I take issue with that because as someone who's given his life and dedicated to helping people, I actually just don't see that being the case. I don't see that being honest, truthful marketing. And, I don't know what spells freedom better than having your browser history sent to your mom on a Wednesday evening. Not to me. And I believe that the fundamental truth principle of accountability software, behind it, is the belief that says there is something uniquely bad and wrong about you, and with a behavior and a habit that you cannot control. And because that's the case, you need to be controlled. You need to have external parameters that govern your life, that dictate how you operate, in order for you to trust yourself and for you to stay away from all these bad things. Here's the problem that I see with that. The problem is the only way to really break free from porn is by learning to trust yourself again. And I've never met a man who uses accountability software who actually trusts himself. There's always a fear of going back, because what accountability software does not do is lead you on a journey of wholeness and healing. Could it? Maybe. Does it have the potential to? Absolutely. But most guys aren't looking to go on a real journey of wholeness and healing. 95+% of guys who are trying to quit porn just want quick fixes. And I believe that's changing. To be super honest, I think the whole world is waking up to just the BS, the fallacy, and just the idea that people want quick fixes. I think more and more and more, as a prevalent idea, men and women of God are waking up to what God's doing in the world and saying, hey, God actually wants people to be whole. He wants people healthy. And people are seeing that more. And so the issue, though, is when you go to accountability software and you try to make it your savior, you try to make it your end-all, be-all, you try to make it this is what's going to govern me, the big flaw in it is that it doesn't deal with lust. It doesn't deal with masturbation. It doesn't deal with fantasy. And so although you might be cutting off access to porn in the future, you are not doing anything about accessing the porn and the lust and the fantasy that's readily available by a nanosecond of just thought and imagination from your past, of experiences, of things that you've seen, images, videos that have been downloaded into the hardwiring of your brain. And that's where I see this being a really difficult process for people, is they come to the table thinking accountability software is going to save them and going to be their ticket. And like, what, it's like 18, 20 bucks a month. And they're like, crazy. And then they pay their money. They're doing it for months or years even. I've seen people spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on accountability software because they've had it that long. And then it's like, this isn't working. And I'm like, yep, I could have told you that. Because the problem was the foundation. The problem was your relationship with their business and the marketing of saying, this is what you need to do in order to quit. I have a friend of mine, he has blockers on his phone that his wife put on for him because she doesn't trust him. And she's not trying to build trust with him. They're not using it as an avenue to build trust. And I'll play devil's advocate, and I'll actually give the reasons why I think accountability software can be really helpful and really positive in a second here. But from that frame, it's like he is reduced down to a flip phone. His wife made him get, because she doesn't trust him. He didn't struggle even with porn really, but she just doesn't trust him. And because of her own triggers and her own masculine wounds and her own lack of fathering that she's projecting onto him. And so he's got blockers, he's got accountability software, and she will not even go to like the park with us with some people because he's like, if there's other beautiful women, she's just like, I'm not letting you go there. You're not going to go because it's summertime and they might be dressed in a tank top and I don't want you to see anything that causes you to stumble. So there's just a lot of fear. And what I've seen for a lot of people, and again, broad stroke, is there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. I'm just trying to help you build an awareness of like, oh yeah, like start thinking, like if you're going to drop money every single month on accountability software, I want you to feel very in charge and in power of that decision. That I'm like, this guy is just a complete slave. I was like, this guy has no freedom in his life. There's no freedom that I see in his world. And I'm like, yes, I really want what you have. On the contrary, you know, when you learn to trust yourself, you learn to figure out the root reasons why you're coping with porn. And I haven't ever actually recommended anyone use accountability software because I personally didn't use it, which is why I personally can't recommend it. And I show people that they can quit without it fully. They end up finding a lot of trust and empowerment. They're like, dude, I quit my subscription and I feel really good about it. Again, they're on a committed journey with guidance, with leadership, with mentors, and an extreme expert accountability, guiding them, shaping them so they've invested differently to trust themselves. And just the issue and the sadness in my heart for accountability software is it doesn't build and breed trust within you, which is what you need to break free. Because trust and freedom is powerful in the midst of options, not in the lack of options. If I'm alone on a desert island and there's one girl, and let's just say I'm single, and I see her and I'm like, of all the women in the world, I choose you and I marry you. It's like, it doesn't hold much weight because she's the only one on the planet. What makes my covenant to my wife powerful to me and to her is that it was in the midst of options. It means that out of all of the millions and billions of women on the planet, I want to go through life with you. I saw my left, I saw my right, but I stayed with tunnel vision in your beauty and the amazement of the life that I want to build and serve and create with you together. Like, that's so much more magical, right? There's so much more power behind that. There's so much more weight. There's so much more choice and her feeling chosen because there was options. So in the same way, how can this guy, this friend of mine, ever learn to build the trust with his wife if there's not an opportunity to do so? Now, I believe in guidance. I believe in wisdom. I believe that there can be a way to do it with actual strategy. So let me kind of flip the coin here and say why I think it could be helpful. Why it could be helpful. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, like, if you want to watch porn and you have accountability software, you'll find a way around it. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to find a way to overcome, circumvent the systems, the routers, like the blockers, and then you're going to find porn. And what's crazy about that from an addiction standpoint is that's where the chase is the risk and the fears of getting caught. You know, that's why we go to porn. That's why guys have an affair. I don't want to reduce it down to just like some little biological dopamine or endorphin hit, but from a very true level, that there is a rush of dopamine that we get from the exhilarating idea of breaking over a barrier, of I might get in trouble, but what if I don't get caught? And so when you circumvent and you find a way around a blocker, there's so much more dopamine in it because you're like, dude, I just overcame a challenge and a hurdle, which is intrinsic as a need to human beings, is that we learn to overcome things and have a sense of significance in our life based on the work that we do, not that we find our significance from our work, or is that it builds self-confidence within us. And so the problem is that then we feel so much more shame. We feel crappy. We feel worse. We feel shame that we have this software that we put on, and then we just found ways to dismantle it completely. So I do think that, like, if you really want to watch it, you're going to find a way to. But here's why I think it could be helpful. Here's the first way, is that it creates resistance. So I remember a time I was in the house and my phone was in the car. And you know how you just reflexively will go to your phone in a moment? Maybe there's a lull, you're at the subway station, you're going on a train, like, I don't know, you're in class, you're just broke, you just grab your phone. Every single one of us do it, you know, all the time. We just grab our phone and we look instinctively, just a reaction. And I went to go do that with my phone and I couldn't find it in my pocket. I was like, oh, it's in the car. And I thought about it for a second and I was like, okay, what was I going on my phone for? Do I really want it that bad in order to walk all the way to the car? And I was quickly thinking, I was like, nah, I don't actually want it that bad. And so I didn't end up grabbing my phone, and I had a great night. I think I got my phone like the next morning maybe, or late that night, to like set an alarm perhaps. And my point is I went the rest of the evening without being on my phone. Here's my question for you. Did I really want to be on my phone? Or did I just want to be on my phone because of the convenience and the familiarity of it being there? Well, did I really want it intrinsically, or did I just want it because I had such quick access? And that's where I saw a line and a connection. I'm like, oh, dude, this is why it honestly could be genius to have accountability software, is because it creates a barrier, a level of resistance, a level of effort. So for example, the person who's like going to circumvent around the firewalls of trying to find how to get to porn when they have blockers, it's like, okay, do I want to figure it out? Do I want to take time? Do I want to take 5 minutes? Do I want to take the 10 minutes to do that? And if you're really on a journey of like wholeness and healing, and it was just a little triggered thought, but there's other things that you could get up to, then there's a chance that it could be supportive and be like it being the little bit of resistance that you need to not want to go there at all, and that you would want to make a different or better choice, which I actually think can be helpful. Again, the problem with that is that most people don't have a guided journey on what to do and where to go and what the next steps are for them when it comes to actually quitting porn. So they might have accountability software, but then they don't have a journey, a roadmap, a compass, a North Star, a trajectory, and they're like caught flat-footed. So then you don't go, but then you don't end up actually creating healing, creating connection, finding purpose, getting to the root issues, and then it just kind of goes wah, wah, wah. So that being said, it all depends on what you want to do. I personally, I've never used it. I've been porn for 11 years. I've also never told people to use it, but the last thing, again, that I want to do is position myself as like, you have to quit, because everybody is absolutely unique. Maybe the most empowering, supportive thing for you would be to get it for a season, so it was a peace of mind as a little barrier, and you were consciously going on this journey here in this program, and you're like, I'm going to do it. Or maybe you're like, I agree with Matt, and I also find value in not doing it, building trust within myself and God, and learning and discovering more about the root reasons and becoming emotionally healthy. I do believe that there can be a case for both, but it's going to change if you're single versus if you're married, right? Because it might be incredibly supportive for your wife if you were to have blockers on your phone to build trust with her, not for you, but for her, so that she can have a peace of mind, like it's not so readily available or accessible. I'll get into those roles of marriage, relationship, and porn dynamics later on. But for the starters here, I want you to just feel educated. Maybe it's a food for thought. Maybe it's something you can riff on, you can talk about. Maybe dialogue, journal about it, write about it, share it with your group, the people, the friends that you've invited into this journey with you, and being like, hey, what do you think about accountability software? Beneficial, negative, neutral, supportive, and then share your thoughts as well. Again, all of this is meant to be not so that you continue in isolation, but so that you have a springboard into amazing conversation and dialogue where you grow with the people around you. So share with your friends that you invited into this journey, dialogue with them, grow in connection, send them the text, have like a group message thread, whatever you want to do, and then we'll go from there. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Hey, real quick, if you like that video that you just saw, or if you want to see even better videos than this in a series that I made called Annihilate Porn to help guys or girls like you quit porn, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't forget any alerts, comment, like, all that jazz, and more importantly, check out the next video that's going to take you even further on the journey from where you are to where you want to be. I love you tons. I'll catch you in the next one.